Well, here I am on, this is the day I lose track of time so easy now, Thursday, and even though a couple of my videos I'm about to post say the 13th, it is the 12th. So, I'm going to start off by confessing that I don't quite have the video making skills mastered, and so I don't know how to do a video, or at least edit a video and post a narrative or an audio over it. So what I have here is I've written out what I wanted to say, and if you notice me not looking at the camera, it's because I'm looking next to the camera at the screen where I typed up what I wanted to tell you about the videos you're going to see. So here we go. This posting is about urine, specifically my urine, as fertilizer. Yeah, it sounded a little gross to me too when I first thought about the idea, but I read this article this past weekend. It was written to Indian farmers, dots not feathers. And it was encouraging them to use their. If I look to the right, it's because I've got a housekeeper here and her little girl, and I like to give her little girl some money to help, and so I give her little odds and ends to do. Anyway, that's another story. So this article was written to Indian farmers. You got the picture, from India, not, that deal. Native Americans, to be politically correct, which anybody who knows me knows I always try to be politically correct. Anyway, so what it was doing was telling them, of course, it was addressed to a lot of guys that are dirt poor, just like a lot of my colleagues here are dirt poor and don't have money to buy fertilizer, that one man makes enough urine in a year to fertilize a 45 square meter garden plot. And for my USA friends who have not come over to the metric system, that's about 450 square feet. And urine is all they need. It's got everything. Nitrogen, potassium, phosphates. And in stronger dosage than you'd really get at a Home Depot. No offense, Home Depot, if you're watching this. In fact, in some cases, it's so strong you have to dilute it 50% with water. But I did not do that. So I started my pea saving process last Sunday. And here in 4 days, I've managed to accumulate about 15 liters of pea. What else? I mean, urine, pea, whatever you want to call it. But it's mine. It's my self-manufactured fertilizer. And just been saving it up in Coca-Cola Light bottles as I had them. And since I ran out of bottles today, I decided I needed to fertilize some trees. So I got Laborio, one of my favorite guys, to help me. And we carried the bottles down and we went to work. Just a second, I'm looking at my notes here because I want to make sure I tell you everything, because I know you're anxious to know the whole story here. I've been thinking for the past 3 days about how could I get this stuff down to the roots. Obviously, you can put fertilizer on the ground and eventually it will leach through the soil and get down to the roots. But as many people know, sometimes I'm impatient and I wanted to get it down there where it could go to work pronto. So, again, if you hear some other voices in the background, it's because I've got a housekeeper and her little girl here. Don't pay attention to it. So what I hit upon the idea today was I took a steel pipe, it's probably 1 inch in diameter, and took a big ball peen hammer, and I had Laborio drive that pipe down on the ground, which gathered the dirt inside of it. And then after we lifted it out, we beat the pipe and knocked the dirt out. And so we drove it down about 20 centimeters, which is más o menos 8 inches, pretty close. And so we drove the pipe down, pulled it out. That left us a nice hole. And then you're going to see Laborio pouring the fertilizer down in. And it fills the hole up. We have to wait a few minutes, let it settle down. And then after it got settled in, to keep the hole, what we did was I just had him put a rock over the top of the hole. And in 6 weeks, I'm going to come back and do this again. And hopefully, maybe we'll still have the same hole. If we don't, we'll just make another one. It's not a big deal. I've mentioned this before, that my Mayan coworkers oftentimes look at some of the ideas I have and suggestions I make as though I'm just another crazy gringo. The stuff that they've done this way for all their lives. It's based on traditions that are, 1,000 years of tradition is what they have. And what I have is some textbooks and internet. I'm not sure who's the richer, actually. But anyway, they look at some of these things I do, like before we planted the fruit trees. I've already told the story that I mixed it 4 parts dirt to 1 part cow manure. And I actually bought the cow manure from a supplier. They'd never in their life heard of that, paying somebody to buy cow manure. But I did, got 100 bags of it, big bags. And they just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. They didn't say that directly to me. They told it to my Mayan teacher. But they just thought, who on earth pays money for cow manure? But I did. So anyway, we did that, and then I bought cow's bull's blood from the local meat market. When they would kill a bull, I'd buy the blood from them, which they were just dumping on the ground. And I diluted that 20 parts water to 1 part bull's blood, mix that with the soil. It's very high in nitrogen, very high. They'd never heard of that. I mean, I think they were equated it with some type of, Mayan priest animal sacrifice or something. I don't know what they thought. But in any case, I'm the patron, and so I'm the one who pays them to do the work, and they did what I asked them to do. However, a month or 2 later after we did all this, they were able to see with their own eyes that I get these results far beyond what they get. And so now they have told my Mayan lady, who's also my Mayan teacher, that in their words, they think I'm some kind of like a holy man. I have this, they think I have this big juju magic. And that's not a Mayan word, but in their Mayan language, that's what they told her, that, they see that I'm a hummingbird whisperer. If you can imagine that, the hummingbirds, for some reason, like to fly up and just get right next to my face and will it drink out of my hand. So they've seen all these things, and they just, they don't know quite what to think about it, except it's just like juju magic. So anyway, I do try and dispel that. I try and, tell them, I'm just a guy. And, but they have a lot of superstitions, and it's very hard to overcome. So anyway, you're about to see some videos. I didn't intend this video to be so long, but I wanted you to have the backstory. I took one of my guys with me, Laborio. I love all my guys, but especially Laborio. He thinks he's about 62. Más o menos, more or less. He's not sure, but he's just such a lovely guy to be around. He's one of the happiest, most content fellas. Dirt poor, bless his heart. But I just love being around him. You may hear me sometimes seeming like I'm yelling at him in the videos, and I'm not. It's just that he's hard of hearing, and so you have to yell to get the point across to him. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my blog or not. I used to have problems with him, if you could call it that. I was continually having to tell the guy to put his shoes on, his flip-flops. That's what he walks around in, because he would rather be barefooted than have flip-flops on. And of course, my soil, a lot of it's rocky, but I guess the guy's got leather feet. I don't know. But I'd constantly be telling him, Laborio, put your shoes on, put your, point at his feet. And he would. And as soon as my back was turned, he'd have them off again. So anyway, upon the counsel of a friend of mine who pointed out that he's probably been doing this for a long time, I just gave up. I decided if the guy wants to work barefooted, that's up to him. So he does. I think I recall he wore shoes today. So he's not barefooted. So here we go. I think we did the mangoes first, and then we did some bananas. I have 7 different kinds of trees. I've got mangoes, bananas. I got to use my fingers to count this. Mangoes, bananas, tangerines, grapefruit, oranges, limes, and bananas. And so today we did the mangoes and the bananas. And it's going to take me about 4 more days now to create the fertilizer, my fertilizer. And then we can do 20 more trees. So on this method, in 16 days, I can do 120 trees, more or less. And then I'm going to wait 6 weeks. I'm going to do it all over again. And the last 2 videos, we took some photos that I had Laborio stand beside some trees on so that I could do some, before and after. So in 6 weeks, I can come back and take a video and see, did my urine work? Did it do anything? So here we go.
Sai. Sai. Sai, tu bati chupa yo, não sabe. Ele usando tu sabe.
Mas.
Sai.
Mas. Okay, uno más. Okay. Okay. Más this bananas. Ok, muy bueno. Uno más. Uno más. Maybe I should have taken this video at the start to show my fertilizer production for this week. I've been keeping up with it, and since Sunday when I read the article about using urine as fertilizer for fruit trees, I've managed to accumulate about 14 liters of urine. So we kept them in these little 600 milliliter bottles. A couple of them were 1.3 liters. That's what we've been doing today, is putting these out on the fruit trees, the bananas, and let's see, the mangoes we got today. So 4 or 5 more days, I'll do 2 more sets of trees. And also, you might be able to notice that two of my banana trees have failed to keep up with the others. I don't know why. They were planted at the same time, and they were the same size when I planted them, which was 5 months ago. They were about this high. But the others were too, and the others have grown 300%. So I'm doing a little experiment with these 2 little runts here, and instead of 600 milliliters per tree, I'm putting 1.3 liters. So I'm going to see what that does over time, monitor it for a month or so. As a little test, I've got my friend Laborio standing here next to, I think this one is one of the mango trees. So we just started this experiment today. I think it's January the 13th, and we're going to come back here in a month and see how this does compared to Senor Laborio. Since I checked it with the little mango tree, I'm going to put Laborio here next to my little runt banana tree. Again, for comparison, you can see it's about 1/3 of the size of my big ones. So it's January 13th, and we've just put 600 milliliters of urine on this tree. We'll come back and look at it in a month. Well, there you go. That's the last video of my work today with Laborio. Hope you learned something. If you want to ask me a question, you can leave a comment or ask a question in the comment. You know, I don't even know. Does YouTube let you send me an email? If it does, you're welcome to write me, and I'll send you an answer. I got plenty of time, and love to be helpful if I can, and I'll answer your question. If I have a smart thing to say, I'll tell you what I know, and if I don't know, I'll just say, well, to hell with it. So don't leave me any nasty comments, though. I read some of the stuff people put on here, and I think, my gosh, did your mama not teach you any manners? Anyway, as my dad told me growing up, eat the chicken and throw away the bones. If there's something here you liked, great. If there's not, well, just move on down the road. Pass on the bones. You take care. I would like to add one more thing before I close. I'm a 72-year-old man living on a ranch in Yucatan, Mexico. I live and work among the poor of the poor, trying to help these people. And I want to tell you something. If you haven't figured it out yet, take it from a guy who has. If you're trying to find your life, the only way you'll find it is to give it away. You remember that. You take care.